Hello everyone, so I just finished playing Midnight Fight Express. This is a brand new indie game published by Humble Games and developed by one single dad. And I'm just absolutely blown away by that fact. But it released on the 23rd of August of this year, 2022. You'll be able to find it on Game Pass, so Xbox and also PC. I played this on PC with my Xbox Game Pass app extension, and yeah, geez, I just had a ton of fun with it. You can watch my whole playthrough. I'll link that video at the end of this video to the first parts of my playthrough of it, since it'll take you through the rest of the game if you want to watch it there. But yes, without further ado, let me get into my review for Midnight Fight Express. So this game, for an indie game, surprisingly had a lot of content to it. My first time going through the game, I just wanted to rush through it, basically beat up all the bad guys, and just basically get from point A to point B being the end of the story, and just again have a ton of fun with it. That took me about like 7-ish hours to do so. So there are one tutorial level and 40 main levels in this game. So again, about 41 levels, and each of them, some of them are a little bit longer than others, but look to spend anywhere from like 10-ish minutes on every single level that you go through. Because some will take a lot longer because some are harder and throw a lot more at you, and you have to be a lot more tactical than others. But yeah, I found through like the whole 40 levels, this game really evolved and did a ton of amazing things while kind of keeping the core gameplay really tight and awesome. But Midnight Fight Express, you play as a former member of the criminal underworld known as Babyface. You're lured back into the life by a mysterious drone claiming they have until sunrise to prevent a citywide criminal takeover. So you and this drone, which you named Droney, go on basically this absolute rampage, taking out the criminal underworld of the city that happens to basically be like worse than any version of Gotham City you've ever seen. There's gangs for everything. There's gangs of people in churches, so gangs of like priests, gangs of sewer people, there's gangs of like a bunch of hibachi chefs and things like that. It's just so deep, the roots of the criminal underworld in this game. And yeah, so again, you think of any type of gang that you possibly could think of, it's in this game, and you go and basically again just annihilate them on your own, trying to get to the boss of everything, who plans to basically take over the city and create a new world order. And you find out that he was your former employer at a point in time, and yeah, you basically just fight your way through the city to get to him and exact a little bit of revenge and save the city. So again, to in premise, it sounds pretty dang simple, but again, just how this game evolved in its story, I found it actually a very compelling and touching way. Something that's so crazy over the top, but if you really look in the roots, it's actually really sad. And again, too, just the motivation that your character has to go through everything and just again endure through everything that he is, fight through everything that he is. It's pretty damn awesome, and I really enjoyed, again, just the entire gameplay of this, the story of it. I had a ton of fun again, learning about Babyface, learning about all these really fun and crazy, quirky, over-the-top characters that are in this world, whether they just be regular street goons to people you meet kind of in the environments and every single level. You can talk to people who just give you a little more story about what's going on in the world, their past with Babyface, their past with crime, things like that. So there's actually a really decent story that's kind of hidden and also told to you within this world. And man, for the entire time that I was playing this, I was adrenaline pumping really high, just absolutely loving everything that I was playing, seeing, hearing for certain. I'll get into the soundtrack of this, but it's just absolutely addictive, mind-bending soundtrack that it has throughout this entire game. But yeah, getting into the gameplay of this, it's a bit of an overhead. I did it on my mouse and keyboard. You can easily do this on a controller, but I just found when I played the demo of this game a few months ago, and then too when I just got into this, felt a lot more comfortable with my mouse and keyboard. I just found I was able to move my character or Babyface around with my mouse a lot easier, and I WASD WASD. I'm able to control that decently well. So I was really comfortable with it. But yeah, it's an overhead fighting game. So you have a bunch of moves that you'll be able to unlock through, again, the progression system within this game. But for the main part of it, you're using your fists a lot in this game, doing a lot of clicking, moving around. You'll have enemies come all around at you. And I want to say, like, the easiest thing that I can relate this game to would be Hotline Miami. It's definitely a little more forgiving, not if you're playing on the higher difficulties, there's 3 in total, but, enemies will come in waves around you, and you basically just have to use the environments around you and, of course, your own skills and intuition to learn how to take out these enemies and really use the environments to, again, your advantage. So you're running around corners waiting for people to come out. There's parry systems, block systems, grappling systems where you can grab enemies, and again, through the progression system in this, there's 5 different categories, and you get 1 point for every level that you beat. So there's 40 unlocks total. Get 1 every single time you complete a mission, and you can so again, by the end of this game, you'll have by the final mission, you'll have all the unlocks available at your arsenal, but you choose the way that you want to unlock them. There are a few abilities, so like the last 3 that you can unlock, where you get them later on in the game, and then you can, again, just tag them to your character later on, but you do it based off of what you think might help you out the most. And a lot of these too, it can just be better and crazier combos, things where you can sprint at enemies and body check them, jump and do like a ground pound on a set of enemies flying. There's grapples where like you can actually basically use people as a shield, or grapple them to the ground, punch them, knock them out right away. Weapon executions, gun executions, things that'll just help you smoothen up and quicken up your gameplay and your fighting styles the more and more you go through the game, and of course play. And yeah, there's a ton of just melee weapons that you're able to use that'll be, again, kind of different to each level. And again, as you start to make your way through the world, you'll start to fight tougher and heavier types of enemies, and you'll get heavier and other types of like guns, weapons, things like that that'll come after you, and then that you can use after you take out these enemies. There's knives, swords, axes, for kind of basic things, but then some of the enemies will have, like, you'll go up and fight a bunch of construction workers, so the guns will turn into like nail guns. You're able to use like the levels, so the yellow bars with the green levels, so you're basically putting everything level. You're able to use those as weapons in this. When you go on the church, there's like crucifixes that you can use to hit people with. Again, they kind of tailor it to the gang that you're playing against, but there's also a bunch of handguns, and also to like assault rifles, sniper rifles, that shotguns that you're able to use and pick up in this. And they all have wear and tear, and of course limited ammo. After you, like, your weapon starts to deteriorate a little bit, even a gun, you can use that as a weapon to chuck it at people, or use it as like a blunt force object for a little bit until it breaks. So a lot of them are forgiving, and of course too, certain weapons will have a lot more longevity and durability than other weapons, which I really, really enjoyed, and it was kind of fun too. You know which ones you like to use the most. I found knives were really, really great when it came to melee fighting, especially too when you can find more axes or swords, because those will slice people up in one go depending on the enemy type that you go around. But again too, when it goes to the levels of this, a lot of people, I still feel, it's so high adrenaline and you're fighting things, so many people come at you at a point in time, and it can get really overwhelming. So I feel like a lot of people might find this game a little too overwhelming, or it doesn't change too much. You're just fighting from point A to point B every single level. But I honestly found, with the story that they weave in between, and again to just all the different gangs and the different weapons that they come and bring into you, there is a lot of replayability within each level. And again too, just you really want to go through it and learn what's next, what new enemies I'm going to fight this round, and it just elevates it. Again, it's so over the top and absolutely crazy. This is one of the most high octane, fuel, blood pumping games I've ever played, but I absolutely loved it. It's right up there to me with Doom, Hotline Miami, things like that, where you're just like, you're locked in on the screen for every single second that you're playing it, and you really want to learn how to play it better every single time you get to new points in the level. I found that the checkpoints in this are extremely forgiving. You don't have to restart the level or anything, but they're extremely forgiving for a lot of them. A lot of sections can be longer. I did find in a few levels that sometimes the difficulty cap felt like it shot up so high, and it just got way too difficult for its own good sometimes, but nothing that I wasn't able to work after. And again, so you find a strategy that works for you, and eventually you're going to get past the level. You just got to be patient, a little more patient with some levels that sometimes feel fair, sometimes they don't feel so fair. You just got to work through them all. But again too, just all the weapons and everything that they do, I found this game just, with every single level, just kept everything super, super fresh. Again too, the fact that this was all built by one person, I mean, they have the publishers, Humble Games and whatnots, but the fact that it was built by like a single dad is absolutely crazy and amazing. And I'm blown away by how he was able to bring such a rich world like together and a rich story, awesome characters, just amazing combat. It feels so smooth and it's so good. The weapons all feel great. You got to get used to it a little bit, but once you find something that works for you, it's so nice and just feels so rewarding. Parry system in this is absolutely great. And again, too, all the difficulty levels are really, really good. But each level brought something so new that just kept it fresh and really, really fun for me to get into and play. One thing that, again, I absolutely loved was each level has its own soundtrack to it. So there's 41 songs total, and they're all, again, just as adrenaline pumping as the gameplay is. That's how adrenaline pumping and just addictive that's the soundtrack is. It's really, really well done. It's done by an artist called Noise Cream, and yeah, he channels the nonstop midnight energy of this metropolis perfectly. And yeah, I definitely have my favorite levels, my favorite songs, but I loved every single mission of this. Again, they switch up the gameplay quite a bit too, where there's going to be some missions where you just go like crazy big brawls and bathrooms where you're just swarmed by enemies. A lot of ones where you traverse the landscape a little bit more to get from point A to point B. There's some vehicle missions that are really, really fun, more like gunplay focused missions or like sides of missions that'll then transfer into hand-to-hand combats where you're fighting on like a falling plane, you're fighting on moving trains, things like that, while like a helicopter with a sniper shooting through the windows trying to kill you that will get like one shots. Again, it's just so high octane from start to finish, and I loved every single second of it. I'm definitely going to be replaying this game again. I find the achievements that they have in it are really, really fun to go on. And yeah, this was just easily one of the best indie games I've ever played, easily the best of the year that I can think of off the top of my head. Really, really love this, and I'd recommend it to anyone who's a fan of, again, just like maybe third-person shooter games, overhead style fighting games in general. This is definitely right up the alley. Amazing soundtrack. Just again, too, I can't believe that it was made by like one person, and geez, it's just easily again one of the most fun, some of the most fun I've had with a video game this year. Just absolutely incredible. Again, too, the fact that you can find it on Game Pass is absolutely perfect, and I feel like if you have Game Pass, this is definitely like a great seller for you to either get Game Pass or if you have it, must play if you own it. And yeah, it's just so damn good. And really with everything taken together, I loved my time with Midnight Fight Express. I'm going to love all my time with it. And I'm going to have to give it an 8.5 out of 10 right now. Stick around for the after credits of the game because there is something that teases a sequel, which I really, really hope we get. I really want this game to be successful, of course, too, just from the story of the development of this game and just how damn good it was. Really, really excited to see and play more of it. So again, highly recommend it. Awesome, awesome game is what Midnight Fight Express is. If you played it, please let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And again, if you want to check out everything I do on this channel and my playthrough of the game, link that up top here for convenience sake. Thank you for subscribing and turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. And if you want to check out the description of this video and of course my channel bio, there's a link to the Medium Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that is awesome in this world. So you definitely join that amazing community. I'll make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.
Sky blue eyes, I see a world behind them. No more time sinking into the side.